their face-to-face meeting. Robert Moses joins us now with what's being said publicly so far. Robert.
Kurt and Rosanna with Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani taking office in a little more than 6 weeks. We now know that plans are in the works to set up that in-person meeting with President Donald Trump. On Sunday night, you'll remember, the president said that Mamdani wants to come to Washington to meet with him, and indeed, Mamdani revealed yesterday that his team had reached out to the White House. A spokeswoman says that outreach happened.
And I was thinking that he might have ICE grab him up. That would be...
Has yet been announced. After serving meals at a food pantry in the Bronx, the mayor-elect said that he plans
He's
to
struggling to hold those plates up with a buggy whip arms.
Supporters have been telling him.
The president ran a campaign where he spoke.
Go to the gym, go work out, get those buggy whip arms in shape, and maybe go hold on some of those plates.
That of his administration in Washington, leading to the exact opposite effect for New Yorkers.
Meantime, Mayor Eric Adams remains in Israel this morning. He had been scheduled to return to the city today, but will now
Eric
travel
Adams
to Uzbekistan
became an
before
Israelite.
coming back here on Sunday.
Look at his
the mayor
shit.
met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who thanked him for
Man, looks like the
his
devil.
great support of Israel and for being a true friend of the
Look at
Jewish
that man.
people. The mayor had previously said that if he were a Jewish New Yorker, he'd be concerned about his children. A clear dig.
He is a Jewish New Yorker. He's lying. He converted.
By questioning the mayor's priorities in his
If I was a Jewish commuter, I'd be worried about my babies.
This is a time when New Yorkers are on the brink of being priced out of the city that they call home. And his actions have little to do with that affordability crisis. And what they show, in fact, is why New Yorkers are so desperate for a new administration. One that
Why they voted for you? Desperately voted for you?
will look to speak to working class New Yorkers as to what those needs are, as opposed to war criminals.
As a reference to the charges brought against Netanyahu by the International Criminal Court for his actions in Gaza. Now, some of the mayor-elect's most high-profile conservative critics announced the formation of what they're calling a watchdog to monitor his decisions while
What
in
is this,
office.
John Lovitz?
Among them, billionaire John Katzimatidis, who extended an olive branch of sorts to the
I find it funny that his name is John.
Everything that happened in the campaign, how do they say about it in Brooklyn? Forget about it. The one thing that we all hold in common.
You don't have the right to use our words.
And we want New York to go in the right direction, and we want New York to thrive like it always has.
I've spoken with John in the past. I look forward to putting together an administration that will deliver on the needs of every single person that calls the city their home.
Is he gonna deliver?
A Siena poll just out this morning, Mamdani has a 55% favorability rating among city voters. Among state voters, that rating drops to 40.
Oh, dramatically dropped, eh? I'm not surprised.
All right, sticking with politics, City Councilman Chi Osei of Brooklyn filed paperwork to run in New York's 8th Congressional District. The close ally of Mayor
They don't want this man. Why is he trying to stay in the business?
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who's the highest-ranking Democrat in the U.S. House of Representatives. When asked about Osei's plans, Jeffries said, "Come on in, the water's warm." And the
What
U.S.
is that about, eh?
A Trump administration challenge to a New York law that blocks immigration officials from arresting individuals at or near state courthouses.
The Justice Department filed a lawsuit in June to block the Protect Our Courts Act, claiming federal law supersedes conflicting state laws. The judge rejected that argument, ruling that New York was protecting its sovereign interests in the face of undue federal interference. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said New York's law and similar measures in other states endanger you. Members of Congress are demanding answers about a Bronx chimney collapse.
Hudson Valley Congressman
Who remembers this?
and Long Island Congressman Andrew Gaboriau
The collapse of the building. Well,
filed
side
on the House
collapse.
Financial Services, calling for an explanation on October 1st, you may remember. A boiler exploded in the basement of the Mitchell houses on Alexander Avenue in the Bronx. Well, the explosion caused the chimney on the side of the NYCHA building to collapse. No one was injured. The case is still under investigation, and the congressmen are concerned because NYCHA receives federal funding, and they want accountability taken for what has happened.
Somebody's gonna get
Today,
fired.
Growing calls for the Trump administration to act to get heating aid to those in need.
The Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as HEAP, is one of many federal initiatives that had funding stopped when the government shutdown began. Roughly 1.5 million New Yorkers relied on HEAP to heat their homes. The shutdown has ended, but many are still waiting for the benefits to be restored. Governor Hochul says HEAP might must be prioritized as the weather gets colder.
Uh-oh.
Today I'm calling on the Trump administration and all Republicans.
Well, this lizard obviously needs
turn
heat.
on this heat. Turn on the spigot.
Give
turn
this
on
woman
the
her
gas.
heating rocks.
Turn on the power. Turn on the electricity.
Turn on the
Let's start
lights.
making sure that people don't have to be stressed out all across America about whether or not their families and themselves are going to be cold.
A White House official
Sounds like
told Fox
Biden.
5 that heat benefits began to be processed as soon as the shutdown ended. All right, 7:37 coming up.
Time is
All right, 7:40 rush hour. Here's some top stories as you're heading out the door. Today, the House of Representatives will vote on a measure that would order the release of files gathered during the investigation into child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump had recently opposed it, but today he's saying release it. On Sunday, he changed his mind. He wants the files to be made public for you.
Well, the suspects involved in Saturday's deadly shooting that killed 2 and injured 3 others in Newark, New Jersey remain on the loose this morning. Police identified those killed yesterday as 10-year-old Jordan Garcia and 21-year-old Kaya May Scott.
Wow.
There is a
I praise God to anybody affected by this.
for any information that leads to arrest.
Also this morning, Mets owner Steve Cohen has signed an agreement with the city that addresses concerns from the U.S. Tennis Association, which owns the tennis complex right across the street from where his proposed Metropolitan Park Casino would be built in Queens if they get approval. The New York Post is reporting that the USTA deal prohibits other competing events from taking place on neighboring lots except for Mets games at Citi Field. Who knew that they had that agreement?
Yeah.
Who
Right?
knew?
Okay, learn something every day in sports.
And you know what I learned?